multiplication and division. So first problem we're going to do, we got number 12 is 2n is greater than 20. So if we're looking at this, then saying 2 times something has to give me an answer that's greater than 20. Possible real world situation that might happen with this, saying, you know, I work 2 hours times however much I make. I need that to be more than $20 in order for me to go see the Avengers next week, or what is it? Yeah, next week. Yeah, next week. So if this is a multiplication problem, what am I going to do in order to solve it? We're going to divide. Good. So I'll take 2n and divide it by 2, which is going to leave me with what? N. Good. And then I'll have to do the same thing to the other side. 20 divided by 2 makes 10. So n has to be greater than 10, right? So if it's a multiplication problem, we're going to do the opposite. We're missing part of the multiplication. We got to divide. Some of these you're going to be able to do in your head just by looking at them, and that's okay. But in case you don't, this is the process. Now we're going to make a number line that shows all of the possible answers for n. So it's going to be like a picture that represents this, because this is saying I could put any value in for n that's greater than 10 and it would work. If I put 11 in here, 2 times 11 would be 22, which is greater than 20. So with the number line, open or close circle? Open circle, because it could not be 10. If it was 10, it would equal 20 and it wouldn't work. And then we're going in this direction. This is showing 10.1 would work, 10.5 would work, 11 would work. Over here, 15 would work. All the way down the road would be 100 would work. This is showing all the possible answers. These two are the same thing, representing each other. So if we have a multiplication one, we're going to do what process to solve it? Divide. Good. All right, if we look at number 13, we have c divided by 9 is going to be less than or equal to negative 4. So this is saying something, when I take it and divide it by 9, I want it to be less than or equal to negative 4. Possibly, right? This could be saying, okay, what is the bill that I split between 9 people and it's less than or equal to negative 4? That's kind of what we're kind of looking at. Everyone owes $4. So if I don't know the division, the answer to it right off the top of my head, what am I going to do? Multiply. Good. So I'll multiply by 9. That leaves me with c. Negative 4 times 9 is going to be negative 36. So c is less than or equal to negative 36. And I can graph that. I have negative 36. Closer to 0 would be to the right. That's negative 35. Further from 0 would be to the left. That's negative 37. So could it be negative 36? Yes. So I'm going to have, a whole dot here saying negative 36 counts. And which direction are we going? If c is less than or equal to negative 36, it's going to go to the left. These numbers are smaller than negative 36 and below. Questions here? It's okay to have a question. All right, well then let's, yeah.
Well, for the fraction one, do we just take the bottom number and then, on number 13?
So this is saying something divided by negative 9.
Oh, so then we divide the other.
Well, because this is asking me, it's saying something when I divide it, if I'm missing part of a division, I can do multiplication to figure out what the missing piece is. So I'm multiplying like c, because this would be kind of like this, okay? I'm multiplying it by 9 over here, and then I would be dividing out. These would simplify ahead of time. And since I multiplied by 9 over here, I have to multiply by 9 over here. If you guys flip your paper over and we look at something like 23, This is where it kind of shifts the game a little bit. Negative 5n is less than or equal to 15. And this is kind of what we talked about with the warm-up. So negative 5 times something gets me an answer that's less than or equal to 15. Well, in this case, I would be doing what operation in order to solve it if you didn't just know what the answer was? Elise? Yeah, good. We're going to divide by negative 5. Now, you'll notice over here, this is a key spot. 15 divided by negative 5 is negative 3. Because I divided by a negative, that positive changed. So when the positive changes to a negative, what do I have to do with the symbol? To flip it around, otherwise it's not going to work. Just so you could see, if I would have left it the way it is, then let me just show you something, okay? So this is wrong. Right here is wrong. But if I put something in here and said n is less than or equal to negative 3, if I put a value in, a value that would work would be negative 5. Less than or equal to negative 3. A value that will work would be negative 5. So then if I put negative 5 in here, and I said negative 5 times negative 5. Negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. Is 25 less than or equal to 15? Is 25 less than or equal to 15? No. That's why it doesn't work like this. When you multiply or divide by a negative, it's going to flip the sign. Okay? So if you multiply or divide by a negative, flip the inequality, because it will not work otherwise, because you're changing from a positive, you're going from the positive to the negative, from the negative to the positive. So it won't work if you don't flip the sign. So this is what we have to have. Then I could put something in here like negative 1, because that would work. Negative 1 is greater than negative 3. Negative 5 times negative 1 would be 5, which is less than or equal to 15. So then that's what I'm going to graph. I have 0, and we'll say negative 3, and I guess I maybe set it up a little bit wrong, but that's okay. Then I can have negative 6 over here. So I'm at negative 3. It is going to include that, and everything up above it going this way. We'll do one more example like that. We're going to do a division one. So let's look at I'll just make it up. Let's go x divided by negative 7 is greater than or equal to 10. So we have something when I divide it by negative 7, I have to get an answer that is greater than or equal to 10. It's a division, so I'm going to do the opposite, which is multiply. Negative 7 and negative 7 would divide out. And then in this case, since I'm multiplying by a negative, I'm going to flip that inequality symbol around because it's changing this positive 10 to a negative. And then I can graph that there. And again, I'll show you one more time why the other way wouldn't work. So it has to be less than that. So let's pretend that I didn't flip this around, right? So then I would have x is greater than or equal to negative 70. So I'll put negative 49 in there. Negative 49 divided by negative 7 would be positive 7, which is not greater than or equal to 10. So it wouldn't work if you don't flip it around. Questions with this?